I want to talk about why James Franklin got fired. Yeah, it's that kind of vibe. What's going on? My name is Daniel Augustin. This is another episode of Multi-Hyphenate AF. Slide my chair on this way. I want to talk, man. I want to just break down my thoughts, just talk about my thoughts as it pertains to James Franklin. James Franklin getting fired. What that means. Been at Penn State for 10, 12 years, if I'm not mistaken. One of the winningest coaches there. I think oftentimes what that means is these schools have been overly committed and accepting of above average success. I'm actually in a Fansville kind of way. I'm actually kind of excited about this. I want to see who the new coach is going to be. Just heard Oregon State fired their coach as well. It's the wild west right now. James Franklin getting fired to me is different though, because that school has not necessarily been caught up in the Wild West. What happened? What the fuck happened? How does it fall off that hard, that fast? Just in the playoffs, got more guys in the portal. They got one wide receiver over there that I was a very, very big fan of last year, Kyle McCord, ACC, Syracuse. The guy's name is Trevor Pena. I'm over here talking about the tree. But Trevor Pena was at Syracuse with Kyle McCord, and they had one hell of a run. I was tracking Cam Ward, ran into those guys, and studied their tape, and was in awe. And saw he went to Penn State. I wanted him to go to UCLA because I'm like, yo, Nico needs a receiver. I would love to see if that in college guys are like really recruiting with one another. I don't know why the fuck he went to Penn State. I'm thinking he went to Penn State thinking, man, they were so close. They were so close. And even before Drew Aller got injured, they were a mess. Why were they a mess? Why weren't they able to win games on defense? Sometimes when it's not working on offense, ultimately this is a full-on game. You got multiple chances on defense to stop the other team, but to also take the ball away and potentially score. Yes, you could also put your offense in a great situation by just getting a fumble recovery, and then you land on it, and now the offense gets the ball to the 50-yard line. Great, awesome. But big difference when your offense is struggling to score and then you score on defense or you score on special teams. Big difference. All right, that's like a quick punch in the mouth that the other team is not expecting, because all of a sudden, damn, 7 points? We didn't even get a chance to stop them. So they weren't scoring on defense. Nothing was happening on special teams. Why did everybody quit? What happened internally is what I'm saying. There could be a documentary done about what happened over there at Penn State. To lose to Oregon is one thing. Why such a 2-week crash out? Why did that have to take place? Why did they have to go through a 2-week bender? I actually think UCLA is kind of nice. So I think they got caught off guard by UCLA. But maybe for some reason they just started seeing themselves as very regular. I'm thinking maybe even something internally happened, like some kind of misconduct. Why did everybody stop? I saw this clip on YouTube. James Franklin at the end of the game standing there in the middle of the field looking around like he was taking it all in, like he knew that was his last time. I heard he got, sounds like, water cooler. Maybe I'll make that the name of this podcast. The water cooler. Hanging at the water cooler. I heard he got The buyout was $50 million, $49, $50 million, something like that, for him to not coach. Penn State said, we can find somebody better and we'll pay you $50 million for you to stop coaching. But I heard that it wasn't just Penn State that did that. I heard that it was Adidas. Adidas, who sponsors the school, was essentially thinking, or maybe seeing this as, we sponsored them. They're supposed to be in the college football playoff with all the gear we're giving them and investing in their athletes, helping their athletes come to this school that ain't got no kind of jersey game at all. What they coming to this school for? They not going to have no drip. None. I can't wait to see who the coach is going to be over there. If I was a coach at Penn State, we got to add some drip to these jerseys. It's not doing it. Got to do something. But now they're losing recruits. What happens to Trevor Pena's season? Is he a senior? He's a senior, bro. 5'10", 186. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that after a coach is let go, these guys have a chance to jump back in the portal. So I wouldn't be surprised if he jumps back in the portal. Look out for this guy. He's going to go somewhere where he's needed, and he's going to make a difference. But yeah, James Franklin. Let me show this video. I saw this video of him, and it was so sad. And it just made me stop to think to myself what happened. He's just looking, he's turning around, he's taking it in. He's not even walking straight to the locker room. Now he could just go straight to the locker room. He out there for a minute. And you know, I'm running it back. Look at the people in the background. There's people in the background. Look at them. Look at their energy. Look at those football players, how they're walking off the field. Lingering off the field. They're shaking hands, but I think there's so much has died there in 2 weeks. Is it all this because they lost to Oregon? Look at this guy, number 50 right here. The big guy. This is the saddest thing I've ever seen. These guys are consoling each other. These are people who know that they're not going to play in the college football playoff. These are people who know they won't be in the Big Ten playoffs, the Big Ten conference. These are people whose entire season is over. What the fuck happened in that locker room, bro? What did he say or not say, bro? This is shit people need to learn. There are football coaches all over the country who need to hear this shit so that they can avoid this shit happening to them. Or this is teaching material here. What the fuck happened? Was there some kind of sexual misconduct? Did he get into a fight with one of his players? Maybe that's what happened. Maybe he got into a fight with one of his players. Maybe one of his players called him out and made him look like a bitch. Maybe he got into a fight with one of his coaches but got beat up in front of his football players by the coach. Got called out by that other coach. That coach called him out right there in front of the kids, the young men, and then they went blow for blow, and that guy slapped him, because we don't see no marks, no gashes. That guy slapped him in front of everybody, and he just lost his respect. Maybe they told him that if he didn't beat Oregon, they were going to fire him at the end of the season. And he couldn't handle the fact that he lost, and he just went into practice that next week like, fuck it. What's all this for? If I can't even get through the season and at least fight for my playoff chance, what's all this for? Because if that was the case, then It's crazy because he could have lost to Oregon, but then still made it to the playoffs and still won the championship. So I don't think that could be it, you know? But what if? What if they told him, if you lose this game, we're firing you? Maybe he cried in front of them after they lost to Oregon. Maybe he cried. Maybe he cried and they just felt so sad. And then he went to practice the next day trying to act like that didn't happen. Like he didn't just cry in front of these young men. And now he's there at practice on Monday after crying in front of them on Saturday night in Penn State. That game was at Penn State, so they got such bad juju at their home stadium. They probably thought, you know what, I'm going to step out. We finna go to L.A. Things is going to be different in L.A. And then we finna get things back on track. It was really weird what happened. Coach is not acknowledging what happened, that he's 60-something, and he cried in front of us because they keep saying he can't win the big game, and then he didn't win the big game, and this big game happened at home, and he gave us the biggest rah-rah speech of his life before that game, and then we still lost that game, and something's off about Coach, man. Ever since we cried, we just can't see him the same way. He just, it doesn't hit the same now. He cried in front of us, man. We're supposed to be the criers. He's supposed to console us. We're the young men on the team. So then, boom, they travel to Los Angeles. Everybody's feeling weird because Coach just cried. And then UCLA actually had a game plan, and they was going through their own shit, because sometimes, you know, it's really crazy when you don't know what other people are going through, but you're going through your thing, and you're sitting there talking to somebody like, yeah, man, I'm really going through it, man. I'm short on the rent right now, man. I don't fucking, you know, I'm short on the rent, man. I'm not in the right place emotionally. And then they tell you, yeah, man, my grandma just died. And it's like, fuck. Is there room for both of us in this conversation? I'm just saying, I'm trying to pick up the pieces. I am trying to understand more than what's just being said and what's just being felt, because the shock waves really are, whoa, he got fired? Who's next? What happened? It almost isn't even talked about, because what happened is being almost just talked about as if those 3 games was enough. Those 3 games were probably enough because they're used to not winning the big game. We give you this money because we get to stay up there in competition. But now they just lost 3 games in a row. And they lost to UCLA, that was 0-4, and Northwestern. Northwestern, nobody don't never lose to Northwestern in that division, in that conference. I don't even know how Northwestern is in that conference. It's so many other schools that should probably be in the Big Ten. But some way, somehow, Northwestern done found their ass in the Big Ten. They need to get replaced, if you ask me. What the fuck happened? Did Adidas really buy him out? Or is that a cop-out? Is that PR? It's a good line. A very good line if that's what happened. Hey, man, it's not us. We love you, James. We love you, James. We love you, your family. We love your wife. We love you guys. But Adidas, it's Adidas. And, you know, they sponsor all of these kids. If we lose Adidas, we're going to lose these kids, James. We have to let you go. But here's $50 million. Here go $50 million. What happened? I mean, maybe the Adidas thing is real, you know? Maybe Adidas is saying to them, you know, in their boardrooms, this team didn't make it. We sponsored them for this much money. Some of that money was used in NIL for some of these players. And some of these players won't be in the college football playoff, which means we won't be getting the advertisement investment dollars that we put into these players. And we need to make sure that our investment is bringing us back some reward. We need our investment on TV in January. We got to let this guy go because he's not able to get our investments to look as good as they should look. Maybe Adidas is trying to challenge Nike, and to do so, they need to get some Jordans. They need to get some guys that are like fucking ballers that are going to wear Adidas. Like Travis Hunter is wearing Adidas right now. And I think the Jacksonville Jaguars maybe, or just Travis Hunter, or Travis and Trevor. But maybe that's what it is. Maybe Adidas is like, we need to be on TV in January, and you fucking this up, James. James? You fucking this up, James, if I'm being frank. Was it something sexual? This shit happens. Penn State's known for that shit too. That shit done been in their halls now. What happened? What could it be if it was something sexual? Fuck happened? Maybe James Franklin got so drunk after the game. He said something. He did something crazy. I don't know. This is getting dark. This is getting dark. We're gonna stop. We're gonna stop it. Stop it right here. On my rabbit hole scenario here. But I'm on to something. I'm on to asking the question beyond the announcement. The announcement is one thing, but what the question beyond the announcement. I know he lost those 3 games, but what happened? Why not wait till the end of the season? Why not let him have his dignity? Let him finish strong. Why not let him figure it out? What happened? Why couldn't you just let him figure it out? That's a real question. There's a real answer to that. And yeah, who's next? But there's a real question that needs to be asked here. I'm reading between the lines. Why hasn't the Florida Gators fired Billy Napier, but Penn State did it after 3 games? 3 games. That's crazy. Like, Penn State fired this man because of 3 back-to-back losses. And the Gators have just grown used to that. The Gators got more championships than Penn State, do they not? Wild.
Yes. Florida Gators have more national championships in football than Penn State. Here's the breakdown. Florida Gators. National championships, 3. 1996, 2006, 2008. Penn State Nittany Lions. National championships, 2. 1982, 1986. So Florida leads 3-2 in recognized national titles. If you're talking modern era, BCS, CFP, Florida's 3 are all in that modern system, while Penn State's came before it.
Penn State shit old, bruh. I guess they're doing some adapting. I guess that's what's happening. They're changing. There's a real changing of the guard right now. I don't know who's going to get that job. It would be crazy if they fuck around and give it to Bill Belichick. Whoa. I know that sounds insane because he's just doing so awful in North Carolina, but he probably don't want that job. I just threw that out there. That came to me out of nowhere. I wouldn't be surprised if it happened, though. I rest my case. I'll be back on this. What the fuck happened?